Hey PokeMoshPitbeta, this is SK here, bringing you a black and white battle. It's actually quite a long battle, so excuse me if the commentary is a bit fuzzy, considering I had to speed up the video quite a bit. But let's get underway with this battle, eh? I'm versing Dreffet here, who I met in the Celebrity Wi-Fi chat, and he's leading off with a Yanmega, while I lead off with a Hihidaruma, which is actually, if you're noting, a Zorak. And I'm going to go straight on the offensive, just predicting a Protect, but he's going to not Protect, he's just going to relinquish his Focus Sash, and go straight on the offensive with a Stab, Life Orb boosted Air Slash. Which is going to do a fair amount of damage to this Zorak, and because the Zorak has taken direct damage, the illusion is broken and revealing my Zorak. I survive with a measly 10 HP, but noticing there's no entry heads up yet, I might save it for later for some fodder, and I send in Bliss to tank the hit. But he opts for Protect to get another speed boost, and he's supposed to switch out. Obviously nothing going to do anything here. Just going straight for the Ice Beam here, he sends in Birigion, which is a grass fighting type, which is actually quite bulky, and it can legitimately use physical or special attacks. So if you're in the close combat, which it can carry, I go to Matadogus, which is the Japanese name for wheezing, and Dodge Toxic, which is pretty neat. And he just gets some leftovers recovery, and not wanting to overpick really early in the game, I just go straight for the Will-O-Wisp, and he sends in the Yuxi, which dodges the Will-O-Wisp, which kind of matters later on in the game, but not really. And I switch in back to the Zorak, predicting the Stealth Rock, just to get some damage on this thing before Zorak becomes pretty much useless because of entry hazards. But predicting nicely, he sends in Birigion, which has the new ability Heart of Justice, which boosts its attack when hit with Dark type moves. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work like Lightning Rod or Motor Drive, or Water Absorb for that matter. Is that you still actually take the damage, and you don't absorb it like those abilities, which is a bit unfortunate, but he still gets the boost. So I send in Wheezing to pretty much counter this thing, but he starts Carmining, which is a bit worrying, but I get some residual damage on it in the form of Will-O-Wisp, which is pretty handy, sort of blocking any physical attacks which you might carry, which is sort of unlikely now that he's boosting CMs. So he's sort of just free boosting CMs on this Wheezing, no, I can't really do anything to him. I take this opportunity to set up my Sun with my bulky Ninetales, which is carrying a high speed, high HP, high physical defensive nature. Sorry, high physical defensive EV spread. And he just continues to set up CM, while I then set up some CM of my own, while he goes for a Focus Blast. Wow, I'm actually keeping ahead of this recording. Anyway, there goes my CM, and he's going to go on the offensive here with a Stab Focus Blast, which hits, unfortunately for me, and it does a pretty fair chunk of damage considering how bulky this Ninetales kind of is. But yep, so he's taken a bit of residual damage from the burn there, and not really wanting to send anything into a boosted Focus Blast, I just stay in and get some damage onto this thing. I do have a Shandira, which I could have probably sent in, but I don't want to reveal it this early in the match, because it's sort of a late game sort of sweeper, and I don't want to get too much residual damage from Stealth Rock, so I just relinquish my Ninetales there. And this thing doesn't really worry me anyway, because I have Wheezing, which can sort of wall it a fair bit. But then I send in my real Hihidaruma, which is pretty standard Scarfed physical attacker, which is pretty dangerous with the Sun up, because it has about 3 modifiers on the flailets, which just make it pretty much unwallable. But he sends in a Babara, which is pretty cool. You don't see Babara used pretty often, but they're pretty standard, usually carrying Curse, take advantage of Simple with priority. Flailets doesn't take it down, so it's pretty bulky by the looks of it. And after one Curse, I figure he'll probably survive the next Flailets. So, and he's obviously going to go for a quick attack here, so I send in my... I'm going to have to block it, because Hihidaruma is going to go down, I'm going to need it for later. So I send in Shandira to block a quick attack, which is obviously what happens. And I have a few options here. I can go for the Energy Ball, which will easily KO, but he's probably going to predict that and switch. I was tempted for the longest time to go for the Flamethrower, but I go for the safe Energy Ball, not wanting to risk not killing it, which I probably would have, but, you know, I had to be safe. And he sends in Mamoswine. Now, I don't know why, but I'm convinced this thing is carrying a Scarf or a Sash. Like, just the way he sent it in, against a Shandira like that, it's got to be Scarf or Sash. And if it's Scarfed, it's going to be a speed tie. Actually, it's not going to be a speed tie because I had to drop one IV in speed to get hidden power fighting, so he'd probably beat me. So I send in Weezing because it can easily wall it, and he sends in this Gengar. So obviously Weezing can't stand against Gengar, so I send in Lissy to sort of scout out his moveset, and he starts subbing. So I'm starting to think it's going to be a sub pain split moveset, which is getting more and more common these days. I think Xerxes is the one who pioneered that set, but he starts focus blasting behind his sub, and just now beginning a long phase of me breaking his sub with Ice Beam and him landing focus blasts, which is a bit of a shame because he gets 4 for 4 with these focus blast hits, and I am 1 for 3 with all his hits. Oh no, sorry, 1 for 2. 1 for 3 later on, you'll see. But yep, so it's just this long phase of stall, pretty much. He's going to get all the way down with his Gengar, just slowing down my Ice Beams, hitting the Focus Blast again, which is a pain, but I just sort of keep surviving. So hopefully this point phase ends quite soon. There's another Ice Beam, breaking his sub again, and he's just going to Focus Blast me again. Oh no, sorry, that's the wrong amount of sync with the moves here, but he subs again, and I soft-boiled again so I don't die to his Focus Blast. And here we go, he's going for the Pain Split, and I'm going to go for the Ice Beam to break the sub, obviously. But he's not going to be able to bring me low enough to kill me with his Focus Blasts after the Leftovers recovery, so it's sort of a bit of a redundant fight, really. Really all I'm doing is waiting for him to miss his Focus Blast, which doesn't seem to be happening, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. So he's sort of waiting for either a crit or a special defense low, which, if it did happen, I'd probably kill myself, considering he's pretty much had 100% accuracy from Focus Blast. But he finally misses one, so I get an Ice Beam on the Gengar, which looks like it's only just breaking his substitutes, which is a bit lame. But yep, so he misses another Focus Blast, sort of making up for his luck so far. And at this point, the Pain Split is exceedingly obvious, so I take this opportunity to send in my Hihidaruma, which after Stealth Rocks is obviously going to survive Pain Split, but he's not going to gain any HP from it. And because of the Choice Scarf, I'm going to outspeed it, so I'm going to go for the Flare Blitz to try to finish with this Gengar. But he sends in Bibarel, which is not going to survive the Flare Blitz. But after recoil, I'm going to take a lot of damage, but I'm going to survive with 1 HP, which is fantastic, because then I get basically a free Flare Blitz on anything he sends in next. Which is Yuxi, which is probably one of the few things in the game at the moment that can take neutral damage from this Flare Blitz and actually survive. But there you go, he survives with a little tiny bit of HP and sends up a Life Screen, which is a bit of a pain, because my last strong attacker is Shandira. And Yuxi is obviously produces now, so he just relinquishes it. I go for the Stab Flamethrower. And then he sends his Mouse one again, which I'm convinced is carrying a Scarf or a Sash. So I send in Matadogus to pretty much wall it all day. And he goes for the Stone Edge, and does a bit of damage, not really worried. I'm kinda worried he'll send in his Gengar predicting Pain Split, but he doesn't. So I break his Sash. I still don't know whether it's a Sash or if it's a Scarf, but I think it's, at this point I'm probably thinking it's a Scarf. But yeah, I'm just going to Flamethrower it down, because Light Screen doesn't one-hit KO, which is a pain. So I'm just going to pretty much out-survive him here, hoping he doesn't get a Stone Edge crit, which he doesn't, which is pretty good. And I'm just going to Flamethrower that thing to hell. And so it goes down, and we're now entering the final stage of the game. He has a Gengar, I have my Shandira, my Weezing, and my Lissy. And he has a low HP Gengar, so I'm just going to relinquish Weezing there, and send in my Shandira for the win. Since it has a Choice Scarf, it can easily outspeed. And I'm just going to Shadow Ball this thing for super effective damage, and it's just going to go down easily like that. So, good game. That is good game. And thanks for watching PokeMoshPit. If you like what you see, subscribe to my channel. I have a heap more black and white videos going up over the holidays, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.